There's got to be some tracker online of like dick jokes per minute from each podcast, and there's got to be some record we can try to push.
I agree. I'm sure. Yeah. One or two more. We
just want to stay in the conversation.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Creative Businessmen. In this episode, we have comedian Jason Zaremba on with us. It was awesome having him in the studios. Second time he's been on the show. If you didn't see the first episode with him on, go back and check that out. He's a great dude, really funny guy, very intelligent. We had some great conversations about comedy and politics and the economy and society. And Daniel even decided to be contrarian and play devil's advocate with us, which was cool. He had some great points that I'm sure will lead to good conversations in the future. We had a lot of fun. We enjoyed the episode. And I think you guys will too. If you do, just be sure to like and subscribe. We appreciate your support. And here you go.
That's an interesting theory. I would have never guessed Elon Musk is a capitalist. That really blows my mind right
exactly,
now.
right. But maybe it's just that simple. Like everybody's trying to paint it that, oh, it's free speech, or oh, it's this, or oh, it's the end of the world. Maybe he just sees an undervalued company and it's not properly monetized, and this is a convenient excuse. And he's playing chess. He made a move. He bought a certain percentage, and he knew that if he decided to sell that percentage, it could crash the stock. He got leverage. He played chess with the board. He forced him to sell, basically. Like there's a series of moves. It's absolutely irrelevant what his reasons to doing it were in the end.
And it was there was a couple weeks or a week, I don't remember how long this has been going on, where he was he was like buying shares. It was kind of a teaser to what was coming. Kind of like weird comparison, but similar to like what Putin was doing with Ukraine, where there was like a couple weeks where it was like, is he gonna, like, and then boom.
It's tactical. Somebody was
How much of that is, do you think, is the media pushing a narrative? You don't
I agree.
Hear Elon say things.
I think it's definitely that. I think it's definitely that. Like, but the reality is, let's say that I'm going to go outside and I'm going to decide that I'm going to dig a hole. And I'm going to dig the hole because I can make $1 million, right? But I'm going to dig the hole because I'm going to create a nest for a fox den, right? And every hole that I dig is going to create all these baby nests for foxes. Like, it's like, who gives a shit? The point is, I'm doing this for a capitalistic reason.
Well, I follow Elon pretty closely, and I think he does things.
But is it relevant?
I think so. I don't think it's the best investment for him necessarily. It could be.
I think you're wrong. That's what I'm saying. I think he's got us all beat. I think he sees undervalued.
I think he sees value in it for sure, because he knows that for something to be sustainable, it has to be successful.
I'm going to say, let's look back at this. 24 to 36 months, and I think he's going to like 5x his money, 10x his money.
No, I agree with that. I agree completely, because the majority of people want free speech.
Well, that means it was worth his time and his money then.
Yes, but I think his motivation is the passion he has for keeping open conversation in society, and he sees the importance of that, because that free speech can go against him too, because there are plenty of people that speak out against him.
Isn't that another assumption that we're making?
It is, but based on what he says and his track record of what he's done,
I bet he's rich and powerful, and he doesn't want anybody to silence
him.
Well,
if you're passionate about something and you're really good at it, the money's the side effect of it.
I agree. I just think we got to be really careful villainizing and idolizing anybody, and I think it's irrelevant what his reason is. I think it's a strong business play.
Well, it's both, maybe.
Well, to me, it's irrelevant.
And also
there are people that are going to sympathize with the fact that they're free speech, and they're going to love what he's doing because of that. And there's people that are going to say that this is the end because maybe they want to silence a type of speech that they disagree with, right? And that's the narrative that everybody's playing into. I'm just saying maybe it's not as nefarious as that. Maybe it's just as simple as he's an astute business person. He sees an opportunity, and he's executing on that opportunity.
Yeah, and it's also a big part of it, too, is like probably because, he's a character.
He is.
And we really
and he's a troll,
view,
right?
We really view, not just the news today, but history and everything through like the lens of characters, That's true. I'm like a huge into history.
I like that angle.
And and I realized this recently about I'm like, it feels weird to say fan, but I'm really into like World War I, and everyone talks about World War II, and it's like, well, if you look at, the technical side of things, World War II isn't that like,
it's not quite as interesting.
It's not quite as interesting, but you got Churchill, You got Hitler. You got FDR. You got Stalin. I mean, you've got this cast of characters that is like insane. That first of all, that they exist and that they all exist at the same time and are like at war with each other is all right. Like that's what makes it interesting ultimately. Yep. And so that's why like we're talking about Elon instead of like.
Well, I think Elon's one of the greatest visionary people of our time. There's no doubt about that. And so you have some people that are very successful, very astute business people they're more into investing and creating businesses simply for wealth or power. But then Elon seems to create the businesses that he's interested in and do them very well. So I have no doubt that he's a great businessman and he has financial interest in his investments. But I think his investments are very specific. You know, they're not just opportunistic. There's usually some element of society that's attached to his investments, the things he's interested in.
I agree they're specific.
So that's.
I think for me they're specific to his overall goal. I think that Elon knows where we've said this before, like if we know where the future is going to be, if we with a fair level of success can predict what the future is going to be, then we could shift and invest with that in mind. And I think that that's exactly what he's doing. And if you're a chess player, letting your moves be known before you do them is the worst thing you can do, right? Misdirection's key. And I think he's just playing chess. And everybody else is playing checkers, which is piece for piece. It's move for move.
Yeah.
It's jump for jump. And I just think he's got this ulterior motive, this ulterior plan that, hey, I know what the future is going to look like, and these are the pieces to that puzzle.
Or he's playing checkers, and we all think we're playing chess.
Very true.
But he's just, like, simplifying it while we're overthinking it. Like, I think, like, even if, like, he is just like, all right, I want to buy Twitter and I want to emphasize, like, free speech, everyone else is having 1,000 thoughts on it when he just had 2 thoughts. He was like, I want to buy Twitter, and I want free speech. And now everyone else is writing like 1,000-page think pieces about what this means for every, like it has these implications on every aspect of society. When I mean, there's still a war in Ukraine right now, you know.
Oh yeah, right.
Like, and we just kind of stop talking.
But that's another
about
reason
that,
we need free speech, because if you speak negatively about that war, then you're pro Russia for some reason.
And I agree. I'm not a. I think we need free speech, and I think there's positives to this. I'm just saying, it could be possible that that's not the main reason that he did it. Yeah. It's a convenient reason.
And also like to the point, like
it's a good way to get 80 million people on your side.
Well, I do know that when he started SpaceX, he was almost bankrupt.
He was almost bankrupt. He was almost bankrupt with Tesla.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Yes, the SEC came in,
but he had to go public with Tesla. He purposely didn't go public with SpaceX because he knew that the board wouldn't support him.
So the SEC came in, and Elon basically had to say that he didn't have funding secured, and he's since disputed this. He's in a big fight with the SEC.
Yeah.
And big surprise.
And they made him say essentially that he did not have funding secured, and they were threatening him essentially. And
right, he did though.
Yeah, and the bank said, look, if you don't comply and put the SEC at ease, we're not going to give you the money. So I definitely think he has a bone to pick too, which is the other side.
Yeah, it's a big surprise that the world's richest man is having problems with the SEC. You know, right? That's a big surprise as well. There's so many misdirections in this story. Like, and like back to the free speech angle behind it. Like, that was probably the greatest. Like, free speech, probably the greatest. You could call it invention of like the past 500 years.
Yeah,
I mean, like
before that speech wasn't allowed.
Yeah,
it was all kingdoms.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And that was like, the founding of like this country. That was like a huge. I mean, it was the first amendment before
the most important.
Everything else. Yeah. And that's like a big part of how. That's a big part of how the Constitution was even like brought together, because there were ideological differences between like each of the founders, as opposed to, you look at the French Revolution. Pretty much everyone in charge of that was in line with each other's politics, but where you had, people that wanted to abolish slavery, or you had people that even, Benjamin Rush, he didn't want to separate from England at the time. He just wanted more independence, but he didn't want complete independence.
Well, even James Madison, who was the one who wrote the First Amendment,
yeah,
he owned slaves, and he knew that was a problem, and he knew that the First Amendment would turn against him.
Yeah.
It would work against him, and it did.
Yeah. And it really speaks to, like, I mean, like, that itself speaks to how deeply institutional slavery was.
Oh, yeah, it was part of society,
like, yeah, like people, I mean, like
economy.
Jefferson, like, they knew it was wrong, but they were like, what else am I going to do? This is, like, the only...
Well, it shows how power can corrupt people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it's no different
and
today.
Convenience.
It's actually easier today, probably.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the power structures today are so much bigger and more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it seems today that our whole society is controlled by these mega corporations, these conglomerates.
Yeah. There's not a single, like, major industry in this country that isn't controlled by a handful of corporations, you know? Like, we've all seen the graphics that'll, like, show up on social media every now and then of, like, you know, it's like, here's 4 or 5 companies, and here's all of their subsidiaries, and here's all the products they make, and it's like, oh, shit, that's literally everything in this one piece of... I don't know what I was saying piece of. A piece of this picture, I guess? I don't know. But
a piece of the economy or
whatever. And then, like, yeah, it's easier to have free speech now because, like, I mean, back then you could just be sitting on your farm and say, like, man, fuck Thomas Jefferson.
But it's kind of not.
But now you can, like, tweet, like, fuck this person, and they'll see it.
Yes.
You know?
At the same time, you've got all these major platforms which are driven by marketing.
Yeah.
And the majority of their money come from these major corporations, so they control the narrative. And then if you go against that narrative, you get canceled or you get knocked off the platform.
Yeah.
And it's insane to me that you can have experts in different fields that aren't allowed to share their opinions on certain topics or issues. If you're a credentialed expert and you feel a certain way about a certain issue, you should be able to speak freely on that issue and share your ideas and say why you feel the way you feel. And then the people that disagree with you, the other experts that disagree with you disagree with that expert can share their ideas. And they have these you have conversations between people that have differing opinions or views, and that's how you solve problems.
Yeah, and not even the not being allowed side of it too, but the fact that the algorithm will work against you unless a conflict comes from it. Yeah. Like, you could post, here is a, like, point-by-point breakdown of every single angle of this certain issue, and it's complete with charts and just pure information. But if you don't piss someone off in the comments, maybe 3 people are going to see that. You know, they're going to get more engagement. Like, I was talking to this comic who had a TikTok video that was about, like, vaccines and like vaccines and Trump support. It was you may know Mike Stanley. No, he was in Wilmington recently, and it's basically about, like Trump supporters don't get the vaccine because, you know, it hurts your arm and it's hard to walk around like this, you know, if your arm hurts. And so
it's
that
a ridiculous joke.
Yeah, it's funny. I love it. But, like, it pissed off a lot of Trump supporters, and so he got all these negative comments. But then what that did was that boosted the engagement, and then TikTok started, like, putting it on more people's feeds. So now it's like it's like his biggest video.
Right. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a funny joke.
I saw I got a guest spot on his show last time I was in town in Wilmington, and he is just fucking hilarious.
But with the vaccine thing too, you know, a year ago people would post, you know, maybe, you know, if you've had COVID, maybe you shouldn't have to get vaccinated because that's common science that if you naturally are infected with something, you have immunity. And now that's legitimate. But a year ago, if you said that, you could get canceled. You could actually get taken off of a platform. Yeah. And so that's insanity. Like that, you should be able to, and really you should be able to say whatever you want to say, even if it's ridiculous.
And then what happens, and what did happen was those dissenting voices ended up going on Rogan. And, you know, like, good on Rogan for having people with different perspectives on everything. Yeah. But with that complex an issue on multiple things, he's not really the one that should be interviewing these people because he kind of like he doesn't have the expertise and know-it-all to be able to rebuke certain. Well, in order to, I mean, like the term responsibly platforming.
I don't think you have to. I think you just let people speak and share their ideas, and even people that are dissenters or or these scientists they say are conspiracy theorists or dissenters, let them share their ideas. They're still experts in those fields. Let them all speak, and then share their information and have conversations with each other, and then let the facts come out and solve the problem. Yeah,
but we need to make sure that the facts also get out there too, because people can listen to that podcast, or even outside of Rogan, they can watch some YouTube video or something, and the facts aren't attached, or they just don't get access to the facts. They just look at this, they're like, oh, okay, I guess I'm not going to get the vaccine. I'm visiting my grandmother next week. Let's hope she,
I think the solution to a lot of these problems are there should not be, so number one, the pharmaceutical companies that make vaccines should not be the ones doing the studies for the vaccines or the medications. Yeah. It should be us. We're funding it anyway. It should be nonprofit organizations doing all the studies and the research for medications, for treatments, and vaccines.
Public research, which is what led to the ability for these pharmaceutical companies to put out these vaccines and make them.
Because Pfizer, I think for their vaccine, it cost them somewhere around $5 a dose to produce the vaccine, and they ended up selling it for $25 a dose, and they made $37 billion last year just off that vaccine.
Not to interrupt, but this podcast is now sponsored by Pfizer.
Oh, okay. That's right. That is. Yeah.
The company that makes Viagra, I believe. So suck it, Blue Chew.
How's Atlanta, man?
I'm loving it, dude. But yeah, it's great. It's, there's just so much stage time. There's so many great comics, and there's a lot of great comics in North Carolina, which, when I talk to people about the comics in, North Carolina, when they're like, what's the scene like? And I tell them, there's so many great comics here, but there's so much more, opportunities for stage time down there. I'll talk to a comic I know, and I'm like, how long you been doing it? And I think, they've been doing it, 8 years or something. They're like, I've been doing it for, 3 years. And I'm like, shit, how did that? Because there's so much more stage time down there. You can, I know people that get on stage, 10 times a week.
Wow. It's
and,
New York.
Tuesdays, you can go up probably 3, maybe 4 times that night.
Oh, that's awesome.
And and there's also more diverse type of rooms you can do. It's great. I love it down there. I love doing stand-up in North Carolina, but Atlanta really feels like a whole new level.
Well, the film industry's gotten so big down there, too.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that city's growing rapidly.
It is. And
how many audience members do you guys have at your mics or shows down there?
It depends. In a sense, comedy is alike all over, in that there are mics where it's just comics, and those are funny in a sense of one person will show up, or a couple will show up that aren't comics, and then whatever comic is on stage is oh, you guys are regular people, what are you doing here, fucking shit. But a lot of it is bar shows, and because the Atlanta nightlife, there's a lot of people going out to bars and shit.
Yeah, it's true.
But now you gotta work for their attention.
Yeah, are there a lot of showcase shows in Atlanta?
There are. Yeah, there's a good amount of them. Because there's so many different rooms, people can just be I want to start a room, and all of a sudden there's a new showcase.
Oh.
There's a few house shows. Laughing Skull is down there, of course, which so far I've only done their open mics, but it's a smaller room than Good Nights as far as audience size, but I've yet to bomb there. They get good crowds.
So you
there,
like it better?
No. Well, wait a second. Good Nights is in the ground, right? Yeah, fuck Good Nights, that fucking place.
They're still open.
Oh, I take back everything statements I made recently.
Opinions of Jason Zaremba do not reflect those of Jason.
Yeah, just cut this entire thing down to the fuck Good Nights and the part I was saying about racism earlier.
Oh, I got you Sig Heiling too, so I got a lot to work with here.
Man.
It's gonna say Good Nights. I'm loving it.
I'll make you look real good.
That'll be good. I would like to point out to people that I am Jewish. I had like there was a while I was working on these Hitler jokes and like
one does.
As one does, and after I like got off stage, my friend showed me this like tally, and it was like I don't know 10 times. They were like, "This is the number of times you said Hitler in 3 minutes." And they were like, "You need to tell people you're Jewish before you do these jokes." And I was like, "Wow, you are right."
New record.
Yeah. That's one thing that's cool about like being back in North Carolina and doing shows up here. It's like, seeing you, seeing Mello, seeing Brent, like just seeing all these comics that it's like, hey, what's up?
Yeah. It's interesting how
oh, you're still doing that joke? Okay.
And the amount of time that can pass between comedians not seeing each other and then just falling right back into, oh shit, we used to do this every day. Comedians get to know each other a little bit faster than regular humans, I think, because you're bearing your soul on stage in front of people 5 minutes at a time.
Oh yeah, and you see each other like every night.
Yeah.
Are you traveling any? Do any road shows or anything?
I mean,
you're here now.
Yeah, but other than that, not really. I want to go to Chattanooga sometime soon. There's a club out there. I want to start kind of at least regionally expanding, because I don't have the money and shit to be able to do like a full tour right now. But I do. I'm talking to people. I want to go up to New York at least by the end of the year. I want to start going on the road, start doing more shows. I mean, Georgia's like right next to Florida, and I hear there's good rooms down there too.
Tampa's cool.
Yeah.
What's your day job down there?
I work from home for a life insurance company, just standard data entry. It's
cool.
It's the best. I clock in at 8:30 and I wake up at 8:27 and 37 seconds. Like it's the best. I don't have to deal with traffic or anything. And I worked from home for like a year before the pandemic.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember at the time thinking like, this is amazing. I love it. And then, really, it was like, when I was a kid and I saw What About Bob?
It's a great movie.
And like the opening scene where he's like, all right, time to go to work. And he just turns around in his chair and he's got the computer right there. I remember seeing that as a kid and being like, that is the life. I want that. And then, but then when like the pandemic started, the company I was working for, like everything started closing down like on a weekend. And then on Monday they were like, yeah, still come to the office. And I was there just being like, all right, so what's our plan for the pandemic? This was like 2020, like, and they were like, oh, just wash your hands and, like, I don't know. And I'm like, well, we're going to get laptops. We're going to be working from home because shit's going down. Have you ever checked the toilet paper aisle of any store? And they're just like, we sent out an email. And then like at the end of the day, like I just got home and they were like, yeah, we're going to be, we're not coming to the office for a while. And then like a couple weeks later, they were like, yeah, we're laying off everybody. So,
wow.
Like, yeah. And this was like early into the like pandemic too, which was the
March, April.
Yeah, like the first couple weeks of the pandemic were amazing. Like it was like, hey, stay at home, watch The Sopranos, you'll be fine. And it's like, got it.
I was describing my pandemic experience too.
Yeah.
Like I was working from home and I was like, I beat Breath of the Wild while working, and I was like, and then they're like, we're gonna be letting people go, and then I was like, that's me. I haven't done anything.
Well, because like that was the beginning of the pandemic for me. When
from an entrepreneur's perspective, that was a terrible time for me and Daniel.
I bet. Yeah.
We made it work.
Yeah, we figured it out.
Try being an employee. It's the life. Not really.
Well, if you were one of our strategic people, which there's quite a few of those, and you've been with us for a long time, we didn't lay anybody off, so we paid everybody.
There you go.
Yeah.
At one point, we were losing each a little over $30,000 a week just to keep everything afloat. Which we planned for. Not that specifically, but plan for things.
Yeah, good on you for keeping it afloat. You were playing the long game.
Oh, yeah. That's the only thing in my life I can play the long game with, apparently.
Is he referring to size or duration of time? You guys decide.
Might be a mystery.
Might be both. He's looking a little out of shape. I did get a workout in before we got on set here today.
There you go.
Yeah, so I was in there, Trying to get that stamina up. It's the only thing I can get up lately. But I don't even know what we were talking about now. So
Got derailed with dick jokes.
There's got to be some tracker online of like dick jokes per minute from each podcast, and there's got to be some record we can try to push.
I agree.
I'm sure. Yeah.
One or two more.
We just want to stay in the conversation.
Yeah.
Just trying to get the algorithm to pick us off.
Yeah,
Just want to be relevant.
that's what Elon's gonna change about Twitter. Is it's like, all right, if you don't have a dick joke in the past 3 days, deplatformed.
That's true.
You need at least one or two
And
dick jokes.
If you
Keep us from being too serious.
Yeah,
true. That would be fun. That would be fun. But
that would be an interesting, like not for Twitter, but like a social media platform where it's like jokes only.
Oh,
Like no serious thoughts or anything. Like you can only do jokes. Like that would be interesting.
yeah.
I'm trademarking that.
Good luck.
It's not gonna go well. It's gonna be.
I'm trying to think of how long it would be until someone got horribly offended.
That'd be instant. Yeah.
It's instant,
Yeah.
right? It's like that platform doesn't go 30 seconds. The first joke is posted, the first complaint happens.
Yeah.
So on and so forth.
And then it's just not in the App Store anymore.
Yeah, and then it turns into Twitter. You know what I mean? And then it's just Twitter, and then it's just a bunch of bullshit. And people.
I thought
I'm
about
aiming
that
for
actually.
CISO.
I thought about it'd be funny if Jeff Bezos is like, fuck Elon, and just took it off the App Store, like took Twitter off the App Store.
Ooh, that'll be interesting. That'll be a war where it's actually the masterclass fighting each other.
Yes.
If you get this kind of.
Oh yeah.
They would hire people to fight for them.
Who runs Apple now? Because it's not.
It's just a corporation.
It's just a corporate. They don't have.
I mean, they have a CEO, but it's is it Tim? Something?
Yeah, who's wearing the turtleneck?
Tim Cook.
Yeah.
Tim Cook. Yeah.
Good for him.
Maybe.
He knows how to stay out of the spotlight.
He just got a massive payday. But I don't want to speak to it because I don't remember all the specifics. But it was highly contested. But he went a long period of time without getting it. But he got huge payday, which good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
They make good stuff.
Yeah.
It's overpriced, but it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
did you see the car that they're working on? They filed some patents for a
No.
car. The whole exterior of the car is an LED screen.
What, Jesus.
Can't wait for that to crack.
Yeah. Wait for one bulb to go out. Yeah. One
I know
little
that the Face ID won't work.
I know my phone is broke. I can't even get my shit. Neil
Everything is
cursed
going to be a screen.
Neil
In the
cursed
future,
me.
everything's a screen.
Yeah.
Just LED.
Yeah.
Neil's over here
Just
banging on his
everyone-
damn phone 2
Well,
weeks
no,
ago.
we'll be in the.
Yeah.
It's the metaverse.
There you go.
No.
We'll be.
The
We are the
metaverse.
screen.
This is Neil. Pop, pop. Oh, I'm like, what are you doing, bro? You good? And he's banging on it. He's like looking at it and banging it. I'm like, hey, bro, you fine? He's like, oh, my phone's broke.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then like,
Either that or he's jerking off wrong. And he's like, yeah, spank that. Yeah.
he's hitting the tip of the head.
We all have our fetishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like to
So
smack
anyway,
phones around.
within a few days, all of a sudden my stuff stops working. My facial recognition stops working. So I'm letting Neil know. He's like, yeah, man, you gotta whack it. That's what I've been doing. I've been trying to fix it. And I'm like, what? So I beat the shit
How
out
does
of
that
mine.
work?
I don't know. It doesn't work. I've been beating the shit out of mine, and it did not work. So
Truck nuts for your phone? Is that what you're saying?
Ooh.
Oh, phone nuts.
Now
That'd be
that'll
awesome.
be a good trademark.
You can get a screen on your
Hang a
car,
couple
just have
apples
nuts
off my
on it.
apple.
Your nuts.
Yeah.
Put your nuts on your LED screen on your car.
that would be awesome.
People get mad at you, and it's just like,
What if you turn the back of your car into a butthole?
Here we go. It's a portable charging pack. When you plug it into the bottom of your phone, it's an actual silhouette of your personal nuts.
It's a great idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
you got me. When I get home tonight, I'm just going to take a picture of my nuts, and that's going to be my iPhone background. And it's going to be hilarious until I open it in public.
Yes, yes.
Then it's going to be even funnier.
So, me and a group of close friends went through this phase where we sent each other various things, but one of them was nut pics. And I don't know if you ever got included in this or not.
So this was recent.
He'd remember.
This has been the last like 3 to 5 years. This nut thing when it was going around. Luke
I was going
It
to
was
say it
going
had to be
on.
Luke.
Luke
yeah.
was doing it. I was doing it. Gunny was doing it. So
The new Pac-Man fever.
Yeah, it was
Sackman fever.
Sackman, man. Sackman. Yeah, so we were doing that. And then as recent as about 2 years ago, we were doing toilet pictures. So we were like sending around selfies, like good, fat girl angles, like up here, so you could see that you're on the toilet and taking a shit.
I got a friend who she posts like pictures of herself taking a shit every day on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah, and she's followed by Squatty Potty. Shout out Liz Durr. And she like. Yeah, she gets followed by Squatty Potty, and she said so many people are like just hitting her up and being like, mail me your toilet paper. Like just creeps. If you're a woman on the internet, you've got just creeps jerking off to you.
God bless Twitter.
No matter what you do.
Yeah, God bless Twitter.
Yeah. I need to do an OnlyFans for my prosthetic leg.
You could probably make bank.
Make sure you check out Neil's page on stumpfucker.com. Use promo code Creative Businessman, please.
That's like something out of a Cronenberg
It's going knee deep.
Jesus Christ.
Bro, you tell me people would not pay to see that.
Oh, I'm sure.
Dude, I'd pay to see that.
I would probably watch that.
Well, boy, do we have a surprise for you, Jason. Throw it on the big screen.
Oh, I'm your first client. I'm telling you, like you're gonna get richer off this idea.
That's funny.
Now you're thinking about it.
That's the type of business insight. That's the type of business insight we bring to our viewers.
That's our 100th episode. Is Knee Deep Live.
That's
with an audience. You got a fucking microphone set up for the knee.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
We got a knee cam.
What's bad is it would definitely kill it financially, but you'd be divorced. But
yeah.
But you'd be killing it financially. You find a new, better wife. You know, like you. Make sure you don't get the camera pointing at him laughing at that. Be safe.
Yeah, I don't even want anything to do with that. I was looking up ayahuasca ceremonies today online, and I'll tell you, they are for the wealthy. I was looking at these fucking ceremonies in Peru and all that, and it is like $1,500 a night, just the ceremony, not travel or any of that. Jeez, and I was like, Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Like,
if I got that money, I don't need ayahuasca. I'm fine.
We can do an experience right here in the studio. What are you talking about? Save your $1,500.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
What do you think's in that polar can you're drinking right now?
None of this is real.
My set at that mic later is just going to be me drooling into the mic.
We're going to be here forever.
A salvia podcast.
Just nothing. Yeah.
We're in a K-hole. We're just never going.
You ever get into salvia?
No. I was with someone that was like, hey, you want some? I was like, no, I'm good on regular weed. And then they smoked it, and watching them solidified my, I'm good without salvia. I don't need.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, dude, what's your next show coming up, or what do you have?
After this week?
Yeah. Or this weekend after.
I'm going to be on Watson Ward tomorrow. It's at 8 in Raleigh. Watson Ward's the name of the venue. Saturday I'm going to be at the Idiot Box, 8:30 show. I might be doing Dirty Bowl on Friday. That's in Durham. And as for when I get back to Atlanta, nothing. So, just come check me out. Follow me.
By the time this episode comes out, this stuff will have already happened.
Exactly.
So.
Maybe we can release that part.
Yeah.
Social media.
But, I mean, promoting shit. Follow me on Instagram at JasonZ Comedy. I post movie polls and shit on there. I got stickers, too. I got them in my car. I'll bring them out for you guys.
Definitely do. Yeah, I like the videos you post of your out of context comedy. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
thanks.
Like
Those are fun to put together too. Yeah. Whenever I watch like a set of mine, and I'm like, I'm putting that line in. But if I can follow me on Instagram. Jeffrey Epstein worked for Israeli intelligence, and that's.
But it's been a pleasure having you on.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, anytime. Mm-hmm. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Be sure to follow Jason Zaremba on Instagram and any other place he's at online. And be sure to like and subscribe. We'll see you next week.
Later, guys.
Bye, guys.